There's a couple of ideas that I'd like to share with you in this particular presentation about approaching, passing, or engaging in midlife. A lot of people have it down as a crisis. The midlife crisis is a common cry, but maybe when you get to midlife, you're not in a crisis. Maybe you're just hitting a wall. And maybe hitting the midlife wall isn't a crisis at all. Maybe it's a signal. And perhaps you're in a situation where you're overdoing it, or you may be drinking too much, or indulging yourself too much, or you're slipped into lassitude. You're not exercising as much as you could. You're not looking after yourself. Maybe it isn't that you're in a midlife crisis, or maybe it isn't that you're in the midlife slow decline. Maybe you're just bored. Perhaps you've put a lot of time and effort into the first 30, 40, 50 years of your life, and perhaps you've just flatlined and you need more of a challenge. Maybe the so-called midlife crisis, or the midlife wall, as I prefer to call it, maybe it's a signal that you are experiencing too much boredom. So what's the answer? Surely there are things in your life that you've thought that you'd like to take on. Surely there are risks that you've wanted to take. Surely there are hobbies you've wanted to take up. Well, now's the time. Now's the time to take a risk, no matter how small, and give it a go. Because at the moment, you're experiencing life through a filter, a midlife filter, and it's a filter of all of your experiences so far. The real midlife crisis is not achieving midlife, and it's not achieving a certain age. The real midlife crisis is allowing yourself to rot. The real midlife crisis is allowing yourself to stagnate and to fade away. What you need to do is you need to flip the switch. It's time to change the lens on the way that you see things. It's time for you to reframe your own narrative and story. It's time for you to reclaim your life. You may have spent a lot of time building a particular legacy. That legacy might have involved being a loyal and devoted spouse. It may involve having raised children who are now old enough to fend for themselves more. It may be that you've developed a career and you've gone as far as you can in that career and you're looking for something new. Well, midlife switch. Midlife switch is a time. If your body's telling you and your mind is telling you and your emotions are telling you that you're bored, you're over it, you're overindulging yourself, you're not switched on, it's time maybe to flick that switch and to get switched on. It's time perhaps to take the sum total of your knowledge and experience and your skills and start to apply them in more positive ways. Let's face it, you've built one legacy, and it's time perhaps to draw a line under that one legacy. And maybe, if you have time ahead of you, it's time for you to put down the foundations of a new legacy. You don't have to reject. You don't have to burn boats or bridges. You don't have to turn your back on all of the good things that you have achieved. But let's not just rest there, eh? Let's not just say, right, I've achieved great things and that's the end of that. Midlife is too early. It's too early for you to kick it in. It's time for you to start rebuilding, flicking switches, reframing your narrative, and getting on with the next 10, 20, maybe 30 years of your life. So, if there are some risks that you've wanted to take, or there are some hobbies or pastimes or pursuits or ideas that you've wanted to develop, now's the time. You've never been more skilled or experienced than you are now in the so-called midlife. And if you feel like you're hitting the midlife wall, listen to the signals. If you're overindulging, if you're allowing yourself to go into decrepitude, or if you're allowing yourself just to fade out and allowing yourself just to spend half of your time out of your mind in boredom, maybe you should listen to what your mind and your body are telling you. Maybe it's time for you to flick that switch. And maybe it's time for you to put all of your skills and knowledge and experience through that filter And through the back end of that filter, come to some solid conclusions about how you want to run the rest of your life. Set yourself up a 10-year plan. Imagine the things that you can achieve in the next 10 years if you put your mind to it. It doesn't have to be anything grand scale. You don't have to carve the face of a president out of the side of a mountain or anything like that. It can be just pursuing a delicate hobby. It could be taking up something, some kind of sport. It could be taking up a musical instrument. It could be catching up on some reading. It could be volunteering in the community. It could be joining a club. It could be any number of things. One thing's for sure, if you're feeling like you've hit a wall, your body and your mind are telling you that you have hit a wall. And that wall is called boredom. Listen to the signals. Pick yourself up and start to build your new legacy. I hope you enjoyed this talk. I will be back with more unrequested advice. And until I do, go well and look after yourselves.